Hi, and we are live again with live Snappy Chats. This is all about learning and growing together. I'm Christine Bell, but we're not here to talk about me. You can always reach out and we can have more of a chat one-on-one. So I love doing these chats because what I learned is it can be really lonely in business, especially if you're a one-man band or a small team. And the truth is we actually go through many of the same challenges. So we can learn from each other, we can grow together. And this is why I started Snappy Chat. And today I have the wonderful guest, Jonathan, with me. And he's amazing in everything fitness. But I think you are and you can tell us more, Jonathan, just now. But you're all around understanding strength and also rehabilitation. You're an expert in that. And I know you also have a special passion for helping people at a certain age in terms of really optimizing their health. But please tell us more, and welcome to Snappy Chat. I'd love to have you here. It's great to have you.
Thanks, Christine. Honestly, it's an honor to be on your show because I have been following you on LinkedIn and in your shows, and I've always wanted to be on this show. So thank you for having me.
Well, I'm glad it means it works. If people are following them and listening. And hello, Royce. I'm so glad to see you. I love Royce. He's in America. He's amazing. He used to be a radio host in America. If you ever want to learn how to interview and do fantastic podcasting, Royce is definitely your person. But over to you, Jonathan. Sorry for...
Oh, good. So like Christine said, in a nutshell, we empower families to make healthy normal. So because my wife and I, she works with me, she's a nutritionist, and I'm a personal trainer, fitness coach / rehabilitation trainer. And since we had our own kids, we had a big passion to help other families, because we thought as a nutritionist and a trainer, trying to raise kids and also trying to be healthy was very difficult. So we can't imagine everyone else, having to work, other responsibilities, your family, and then health on top of that is just quite difficult. So we wanted to give people tools on how it can fit in their busy lives.
I love that, because you're so right. Life is busy. The world is very busy and chaotic. And I think we all live in a certain level of overwhelm at this point, right? And fitting in fitness, we know it's supposed to be healthy, food, diet, fitness, everything. We know we're supposed to do it, but somehow I know I'm supposed to do it, and I don't even have children, and yet I struggle to find the time or to make it a routine that I actually love.
Yeah. So that's why, because when we had kids, we didn't have the luxury of going to the gym for 2 hours, or even prepping your meal and weighing all your food. So we had to find ways to save time and to be more efficient. And we have done that, and we want to pass that to people, because like you said, Christine, we all know we need to eat healthier, we need to eat these certain types of food, we need to move more, we need to do steps and so on. But how do we do that?
We need to relax too and find out inner peace, right?
Sleep. Sleep a certain amount of time. But how do you fit that in our very busy lives? Yeah. So
without getting stressed, because the whole point is not to be stressed, it's to find balance, right? And
That's right, Christine. So we're about giving you tools to fit your lifestyle. So it's not a cookie cutter approach. Everyone's different. So Christine, like you said, you don't have kids, but you're very busy with your business, and so you're going to be very different to a parent, or everyone's different. So it's about giving personal approaches to everyone.
And that's so true. We're all different. I just got Joshua Lee here too. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you seeing. I'm checking in the comments right here. You can see that on the right-hand side. Anyway, yes, up there. So it's very easy. This is a StreamYard. It's a pretty easy platform. Sometimes it plays up when it comes to making sure that it actually has a good enough bandwidth, and in terms of good quality, sometimes it plays up, so you never know what you're dealing with until afterwards, and you go. But anyway, here we are. That's a whole nother conversation. So we're all in business, and you and I have obviously met through business, and we talked about this. There's so many challenges that we all face, but what is one of the big challenges you faced in building your business, and still are, perhaps? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, the big learning I learned the hard way. I love this statement. It's not a statement I created, but you may have heard something similar, Christine. But the statement is, build in mud, not concrete. So
very interesting. I haven't heard that. That's interesting. I like that.
So basically it means when you have a product or new service and you want to bring it to market, just stop, spending so much time on creating a website, spending money here and there. Just market validate as much as possible, because as you know, Christine, if people don't like it and people don't need it, it's not going to work. So just every step, just take one step at a time. Have a website, but just keep it basic. Your product, trial and error as you go. Like you said, keep getting feedback from your members. And obviously the more your clients, the more feedback you get better each time. So I actually I learned the hard way. So I started as a personal trainer, subcontracting through a gym, Fitness First. They allowed you to run your business in their gym, and it went well. But it's time for money, right? So, a lot of one-to-one personal training sessions. I was a boxing coach. I loved it, but you had to be there, right? So I wanted to scale. So the next step would be to go online. So I created an online product, but however, I went too far in terms of I got a team to do a website. I got equipment, and I still have a few equipment here stored away. So I basically spent a lot of money and had this big picture, but I didn't market validate as well as I should. So I basically spent all this money and kind of wasted the money, but I've learned from the mistakes. So now that statement's always in front of mind every time I need to create something new or a new product, is to build in mud, and then you can build in concrete once you know it works and everything's good.
I love that example and saying as well. And I might argue, in the world we live in today, because market seems to be changing faster and faster, maybe we continue to build in mud and never try and make it concrete 100%, because that means we can stay adaptable. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Remaining adaptable.
No, totally agree. But when I say building concrete, like spend the money later in optimizing your website and doing SEO. Once you know this, your niche works and people want it, then you can spend money later. That's what I mean.
I totally agree with you. And actually, you're talking from what I'm preaching as well in my business, which is we can go too fast, too quickly with execution. Because we think we got the strategy, we got the offer, we got the strategy. We think we know what we stand for as a brand. We think we have the right message, and it's all sorted out. And yep, off we go. Let's launch. Yeah, we got to launch. Let's get that website. Let's get that social media company in to help us. That get AY set, and we can spend a lot of money on execution. But what I've learned doing a lot of research, because I come from a research background and strategy background, is that most people, and I have done this informal research with more than 300 small business owners and founders, and 95% or more do not do strategy. They go straight to execution. So they go straight to spending a lot of money on the website and everything else. And it doesn't mean that you may still need a website, and especially if you're in e-commerce, you definitely need a website. But I think your point is this as well, is keep it simple. Don't spend too much time on it. Just do minimum execution for what you need, and use that to actually validate. So market fit. So really use the market to test your product or service. Of course, you can do some beforehand, but until you get into the market, you'll still learn a lot more, like you're saying. And I totally agree with that. And it can take a lot of time. And I'm also in that boat. Even though I know all the strategies, etc., we all have to sort of get into the market with an offer and then see how it goes, and then use that to iterate. And that's part of the human design strategy as well, which is, you want to market test, but you want to iterate and get it better and better to make it work. And I'm in that process still. So that can take some time.
Yeah.
So I totally hear what you're saying in terms of that's definitely something to be aware of before we spend too much money, which a lot of people do up front. And I understand why, because we want to launch, we want to be successful. Another thing is understanding who your ideal customers really are. Sometimes you think we know who it is, and then it turns out they're not.
Exactly.
And then it comes back to niching as well. How much do you niche up front? And I know people say you got a niche or niche, depending on which country you're in, depending on how you pronounce it. But I'm actually of the belief that you shouldn't niche too fast, especially when you're starting out,
Yeah,
because you could niche so much that you're looking for a needle in a haystack.
most definitely.
And if you haven't done the proper research and you don't have customers within that niche lined up, you're going to really struggle to get a business off the ground. So I kind of have learned from my experience, I'd love to hear your thoughts, is that when you're starting out, especially, stay a little bit broader, do the market testing, and work out what you love, what's working, and who your ideal customers are by being a bit broader before you niche down. When you have a big pool of customers, of course, you can niche down more. Yes,
Most
Royce is saying testing is your friend. So what are your thoughts on niching?
Most definitely, because Christine, in my industry of personal training, there is so many people you can train, right? So you start broad, especially at the gym. You start very broad, but then online you can niche down. I'm actually going through it, like you. I'm still going through the processes now, but I know I've narrowed down the niche. But it all started with parents, but now I'm looking at more people going through menopause and andropause. So more 40 to 55-year-old career-driven parents, because I have a few years, like 2-3 years, been, like you said, start broad and market validate and see what our members and the market's saying and what they want. And now, we're slowly niching down, but we're still keeping it open, like you said, not too niche.
Yeah, because it's that fine line between making money and just working with the ones we love the most and where we feel we can add the most value, right?
Yeah, well, that's it.
It's
That's
a fine line.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, totally agree. Yeah, because in my industry, right, like, the people with money is obviously who you gravitate to, but they're not necessarily the people you want to work with.
Yeah, and it's all that. And then we've got to look at how do people actually, for your experience, how do people best interact? Do they prefer to be online with their health? Do they prefer to be in person? And all those things to understand. And what does it look like online as well, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so because of our mission is to help families, we have different products to online as well as face to face. We look after people, kids in daycare to high school, and then parents. So like you said, we make sure we cover everyone, or who we want to cover anyway, in our niche.
Yeah. And I think that's also interesting because it's almost like you can have an overall proposition. This is the value proposition you have, but then there's different ways of executing it, right? Depending on people's needs, whether they prefer one-on-one, they prefer groups, or whether they prefer online, whatever that looks like, right? But the value proposition is still there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, so what do you... You're welcome, Royce. So I think they're a little bit late with the comments. They seem to come in a bit late. So don't worry if I'm not replying. It's because it only shows up late here. But so in terms of going forward, where do you see a bit? Hello, Randy. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Where do you see in terms of health? Where's it going in terms of what are you seeing in the market? Are people becoming more healthy, less healthy? What's happening from your perspective?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's people are becoming more proactive with their health, because with social media, the internet, they know that they need to do something about their health, and there's more options, right, Christine? A lot of free options as well. ChatGPT can be your personal trainer. Oh my gosh.
Isn't that scary?
That's very scary, Christine. And people do use it. So it's become easier to get into, to know what to do with your health and fitness. So that's great in terms of people getting into it. However, on the flip side, where still the obesity rate is still rising, even though we have this massive access to information and gyms and so on. Gyms are everywhere, right, Christine? They're around the corner. Healthy foods are out there a lot as well, but then we still have this epidemic of obesity. So So
Which is
there's
interesting.
still it is. Yeah. So even though fitness is on the rise and healthy choices are on the rise, tasty food is still on the rise, right, Christine? You got all these tasty foods out there, big portions, social media, new restaurants, and so on. Especially, I feel post-COVID, people want to be outside more social, and convenience, right, Christine? That's the big one. Like, oh my gosh, like click a finger and you get McDonald's on your doorstep, and it's just it's really scary convenience these days. I think that's the killer.
Yeah, and I also think that's actually happening. And I'm just going to say two things. One, I think that's what you're just saying. I think it's happening in fitness too. You see, like suddenly 2 minutes workout, that's going to get you fit, right? It's like I'm fit in more than 2 minutes. But I have seen those offers as well. Did you ever watch the movie Something About Mary, where there's a serial killer and he's like 7 minutes fitness? But that's a whole nother point. Whoever watched that one. Something About Mary back in the 90s was hilarious, that movie. But also, I think, and I wonder what you think of this. I think like with if we have too much choice, it's actually overwhelming. So like Netflix, like I can sit and look at Netflix and you got every single movie, but I can't make a choice because there's too much choice. So I end up choosing what I already know that I'm gonna like.
Most definitely.
So I actually watch the same things most of the time because I know I'm gonna like it.
Tell me about it, Christine. I'm the same. Yeah, when there's too much choice, like that's why I don't like shopping. Like when it comes to milk, there should only be one or two, three options at best. But wow, you're just overwhelmed with choice, and that's the same.
I think that's the case in your market, and I think it's the case in a lot of markets, right?
Yes.
There's too much marketing offers. There's too much fitness offers. There's too much. Yeah. What do you thought?
Confusing. Yes. So fitness is a big one where there's so much information out there, Christine. Eggs are good, eggs are bad, eggs are good sometimes, blah blah blah. Like who's right? So it can be very confusing. But what I say to that is just careful who the source is. Like influencers on TikTok, especially Instagram, quite a bit of a red flag. Even doctors these days, Christine, when they have the doctor title in front of them, you got to be careful because there are some doctors out there who are a doctor in chiropractic, for example, but they're talking about food like fasting or the keto diet. But you're a doctor in something very different. So you just got to.
And most doctors, most doctors with the title doctor working in hospitals or, physical health, like they don't get trained in nutrition at doctor school, right? Medical school does not train you. I think they have like 1 hour of nutrition, maybe a little bit more these days, but it's not much.
That's right. So just be careful where you get your information, and you can do your own research, right? And make your own judgments, but just be careful with influencers, and it's the hooks, right? The clickbait hooks, right, Christine? Like you said, get abs in 2 minutes. Like, really?
Exactly. And marketing is getting clever and is often based on consumer psychology and how to get people to say yes, right? Whether that's ethically correct or not is a different matter. But I also think it's so interesting, and I wonder what your thoughts are on this. How important is critical thinking these days? I think it's becoming more and more important. It's probably what most people need, is to really learn how to think critically for themselves based on their needs, and that requires understanding who we are physically, but also mentally and emotionally, and also spiritually to some extent, without getting into religion, but in generally understanding who am I as a person, what's right and wrong for me, what do I need, and listening to our body more.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I find because information is so readily available, and we're just bombarded with so much information on the screen 24/7. The critical thinking part just doesn't happen as much as it should. Even just to reflect, like have time to reflect. People don't, unless you plan it in your day. I find people just go on the go, right, Christine? As soon as they wake up, one of the first things they do is on their phones, right? And it sets their day, so they just go with the flow. Unless you are intentional with your day and plan and have times to reflect. That's why I find those people who plan their day with reflection in the morning and night do more critical thinking than those who just go with the flow. Yeah.
Totally agree with you. And we just got Michael Ling here. He was on last week, in case you saw him. He's amazing. He's in from Canada. He's got an amazing product, in case anyone listening, which can help you hear better. And even for people who can't see so well, he's got another one as well that allows them to, with hearing better, they can hear background noises as well. So he's got 2 fantastic products for people who have hearing or even some visual issues. So that's Michael's, a little shout out to him. He's amazing. But I think you said something really important here around slowing down. I think the world is so chaotic and so busy, especially with the internet and everything and AI now, that it's getting faster and faster, which is actually stopping a lot of us from slowing down. So we almost get into a trance, I think, and we're just going through the day like boom, 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 without questioning anything and that's actually reflecting and going, who am I? How do I feel? What's going on? How do I see things, etc. Right? So we are losing ourselves. That's my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, like you said, totally agree. Yeah.
And so back to health and fitness, what can we do to slow down? So you mentioned doing reflection in the beginning and at nighttime. What does reflection look like for you?
Yeah, so I make sure I wake up before everyone else wakes up, and I actually meditate for 30 minutes to start my day. I journal as well, and then I go to the gym. Well, before that, I make sure I have water, because we're sleeping for 7-8 hours at night and we're dehydrated. So I don't find many people do this, but the first thing I do is drink 2 glasses of water, and then do my meditation, journaling, and then I go to the gym, and then throughout the day, I love my walking pad, Christine. It's been a game changer, like, because I'm a pacer. Like when I need a walking pad, like a treadmill, a small treadmill.
Oh, you got a treadmill at home that you walk on whilst you work?
Yeah, Christine. Oh my gosh, it's a game changer. Christine, honestly,
I thought about that. Maybe I should get a walk in here and just walk all day.
It's amazing. Like, you don't have to go too fast. You get your steps in. When I'm thinking, Christine, I don't know if this is like you, but I need to pace. I can't just, I get my creative juices are best when I'm moving. So I remember when I used to work in corporate, like my teammates would always say, "Oh, Jono's thinking, he's pacing." So I find, because we're built to move, Christine, not to sit down. So I find the walking pad is very good. I do a lot of good thinking with the walking pad when I can. Like today, beautiful day out there, I go outside and get the vitamin D, fresh air. Lunchtime, the big one, Christine. Most people, when they eat, they're on devices, right? Or even chatting with their friend. I don't think a lot of people are just eating without any distractions. So I have to do it because it's quite difficult. I want to watch something or talk to someone while I'm eating, but so I have to consciously just go outside and eat and just enjoy the environment, and that's a great reflection time for me. And then at nighttime, because in the morning I go through what I'm going to do for the day and I have a checklist, and then at nighttime I go back to that checklist and tick off. I'm one of those that likes to tick things off. I find that very therapeutic and very, I feel like I've had a productive day, right, Christine, when you tick things off. So that little physical thing to do really helps. So just little things there, the bite-sized things that help me reflect throughout the day.
I like that. I think that's really great. And it sounds like you have a really good it's become habit now. So it's like a routine for you now that you don't deviate from. And I'll just say, Randy's saying first thing in the morning he has water and then he has coffee, which is also made up of water.
Yeah.
But he's only doing a cup of day now. So that's good. What do you say about caffeine? A little bit in moderation is okay with caffeine?
Oh, Christine, I love coffee and I do drink it quite a bit. But I say if you can, have it just black if you can, without the milk and sugar, especially if you have more than one. But if you have one, that's fine. But I actually have 2, 3 a day, especially if I'm thinking a lot, and I enjoy it. So it's long black for me. Yeah. About yourself, Christine?
I don't actually drink coffee, and I gave
I
up
wish I could
caffeine
do that.
8 years ago. Although
Oh,
I
good on
will
you.
say, my husband is behind me, so he will tell me that I'm lying if I don't say this. I have started drinking not drinking caffeine for 8 years. I do drink actual Coke sometimes. I'm a certain age now. I would be your target demographic. And I find that it comes with certain headaches sometimes. And the one thing that works for that headache is actual old-fashioned Coca-Cola. I'm not saying it's healthy, but it does work.
No, good on you. Yeah. And you do it in moderation, right? So it's not as if you
Oh,
have...
yeah. I'm not drinking too much of it. I used to drink when I was young. I went to high school in America, actually, for a year. And I got well into Diet Coke. And then I got back to Denmark, and I just was drinking a liter of Diet Coke, at least until I was 10 years ago, which was not healthy. Diet Coke is not healthy. It's got some other stuff in it. And obviously there's a lot of caffeine. And it took me 2 weeks with a headache to get out of the caffeine headache.
Wow. Yeah, headache for
But I
2
did it.
weeks. Yeah, good on you.
Nothing you could do.
Good on you. Yeah. I can imagine the withdrawals, because you said 1 liter a day you were having.
Yeah, for a good many years.
Yeah, nice.
We got H. Marcelo here. We're about to finish up. We're so glad to have you here. So thank you for being here. Michael says, great to hear about health and self-care. I work so much and I need to focus more on fitness. Yes. Stay hydrated and get enough sleep. Enjoying the environment is something I need to do more. Yes, you did. Get out there. You got beautiful countries in the Canada. As I hermit too much from overworking. Lack of sleep is an issue for me, which makes me lack of energy. I'm taking vitamins now. Glad I'm listening to this. Good Snappy Chat. Thank you so much. And yes, definitely get out there and enjoy the beautiful landscape in Canada. I think he's in what's it called? Oh, I've forgotten. I know where you are. What's it called? I can't remember. Sorry, Michael. I know where you are. So put it in the thing. And H. Marcelo, Coca-Cola for headache. Thanks for the tips. Yes, it's a great tip, even though it's not healthy.
Oh, once in a while. Information.
Well, yeah, but it can easily get into more, right? But yes, once in a while it's fine. As with everything in moderation, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And he's from Atlanta, H. Marcelo. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so we're going to finish up now. But what's one, you said it up front, everyone is so busy. We all live fast lives and we know we need to stay healthy. We see it all the time, but most of us don't, I guess, incorporate it enough because obesity is also on the rise. So what can we do to implement doable things every day? Where do we start by implementing those habits? Because we've got to make it a habit, which takes at least 30 days, I believe, to make something a habit. Calgary. He's from Calgary. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. Well, the first thing, Christine, if you always talk about if there was a pill that was developed that could solve all your health problems, everyone would buy it. But there is something similar that you could do that will help reduce your mortality rate, keep you healthier, and that's walking. So getting your steps up, Christine. And even though, like I said, game changer is the walking pad or a treadmill. I can work at the same time. But if you don't have that, if you're like Christine or busy people working at a desk, I like the Pomodoro technique in terms of productivity, where you do 25 minutes of focused work and then 5 minutes of walking. And if you do that a number of times a day, that's going to get your steps up. And you're looking at 7,000 steps or more a day to start with. And that's
how many kilometers is that?
How many kilometers? Good question.
Oh, I was going to say, we've got a lot of Americans. They're going to want it in miles.
I don't know kilometers, but 7,000, it takes about an hour. You can get an hour to an hour.
A good way to do that is to get a dog and walk the dog. So
yes.
We can get them out of the shelters, which is important, and you can have company, which is healthy, and you can get to walk at least twice a day. So get yourself a dog and care for it. That will help you stay healthy from from my perspective, and get you walking. And we're going to finish up now. Randy says Mountain Dew is the dentist's favorite soda, keeps them in business. Absolutely. And then we got Musi. Thank you for being here, Musi. One question for you, Jonathan. What do you think of a master diet? I put myself on a liquid-only diet for 4 weeks every 6 months. What do you think of it? That's for you, Jonathan.
Yeah. So it's a liquid diet.
For 4 weeks, every 6 months. I'm assuming a master diet. I don't know what kind of liquid. I'm assuming maybe some juices, or is it just water? I don't know. So it sounds like it's fasting.
Yeah. So this is one of the
juices.
common questions I get asked, right? Like, what's the best diet? And my answer is always, if it works for you, do it. Because like we said before, Christine, everyone's different. That's why there are so many answers for one thing, like so many diets out there, and people say it works and so on. But if it works for you, go for it, keep at it. But she says that she does it, 4 weeks every 6 months. Great.
Yeah.
So it's not that she does it all the time.
He's a he.
Oh, sorry, he. So yeah, if it works,
unless you
for
identify something else, I don't think so.
if it works for you, keep at it, and you're seeing results. I'm not here to say that you can't do that.
Because that's the point, right? It's, we just do something once in a while, it's not going to work. It's most important. This is something that is attainable for us. It's something we somewhat enjoy, that we're going to keep doing every day to get results, isn't that? Because it's about consistency.
Yeah, that is the key. My favorite word.
Wonderful. And we're going to finish up now. Michael's just added you. You guys should chat.
Thanks,
so Michael is saying, I have a gym in my condo and I'm too lazy to go down there. That's why I have to pay for a trainer to push myself. And Musi says, no solid food, Musi. Musi says he doesn't need any solid food, but I think everything else is in play then, in terms of juices, I assume then, which can keep you.
Okay. Cool.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on today. How can people reach out to you? Obviously, they can find you on LinkedIn, but anything you want to share, or anything you have, that's coming up, events, or where they can reach out to you?
Yeah. So, firstly, reach out. LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn, I'm on there, but I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and our website is this is our business, DIYPT.com.au, stands for Do It Yourself Personal Training. In terms of, at the moment, I'm very passionate about the corporate talks we're doing, not just in corporations, but in other businesses, around thriving through menopause and andropause. Because I find we're at that age where, a lot of people are needing help with this phase of their life.
And they may not even know that they're having any of these two things, because it's not something we always talk about or even think about.
Especially men. So that's my passion. Like, they think it's just old age, but andropause is a thing. And they say it's the equivalent to what they call it, menopause. So testosterone does decline after age 30, about 1%, they say. Very gradual, not like menopause, but it is a thing. So we're very passionate about getting the information out there and helping people.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for everyone showing up today and being part of it. I always love it when there's comments. It makes it more interactive. But thank you so much for everyone, and thank you so much for your wonderful insights. And Michael says, good job, Christine and Jonathan. Thank you. You guys should talk. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, everyone, and night in America. So I appreciate you all. And Canada too, Calgary. I remember now.